Welcome you to Porch Talk. This is your host, Alan, and this is a Zoom call. We're out in Portland, Oregon, and I have Jim and Ben of Wonderly.
Hi,
And
thanks for
glad to
having us
have y'all
on.
here with us today, man.
Yeah,
Good to be here, brother.
very excited.
Yeah, so man, and I want to thank Nikki from Raby for setting this up, and uh I want to hear some stories today. Not only are y'all multi-instrumentalists, and I've spent a lot of time with this new album, Wolves.
Hmm.
It came out in October for everybody unaware. And when Nikki sent it to me, she's like, "This is a musician's band," and I know exactly what that means. It's like when you hear, well, John Prine was a songwriter, and I totally agree with what Nikki said there. Man, I had no idea what a plaid pantry was. Now I do.
Yes.
Yeah, what you got down there? What's the local chain?
We have a Circle K,
Oh yeah.
and
Oh, we got those
Sprint
out here
We
though.
got
Those are
those.
big.
Sprint
Those are big.
Marks, and that about does it. But I guess
You got to
plaid.
support. You got to support your local convenience store
Yeah, yeah.
and the
Yeah.
people who work in them. So they
Hmm.
got a tough job dealing with all, especially here in Portland at 2 o'clock in the morning. The Plaid Pantry folks are like, we have a soft spot for those guys, and
Hmm.
we've been those guys who've stumbled into the Plaid Pantry in the middle of the night, not knowing what we
Yeah.
wanted, and maybe not being completely awake or
Oh,
lucid.
absolutely. Like here in Alabama and Mississippi, we do have our hub towns such as like your Birmingham or your Jackson. But if you don't live in those areas, if you're a band, you're hitting the road. And
Mhm.
so it's not uncommon to stop by like a late night diner or a Waffle House or even a gas station. I mean, you got to fuel up and you might need a little coffee. So, like, right when I was watching the music video, I immediately connected. I was like, "Oh, Plaid Pantry is like a gas station."
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
It's
Some of them do have gas stations too.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
they told us that we couldn't film at the actual Plaid Pantry. We called up their offices, and the
Mhm.
CEO said, "Well, I appreciate what you're doing, and but no, no, hell no, no."
Do
And
not.
so we're like, "Oh shoot, we have this idea. We want to make this little movie about these two, the wolf, the two
Hmm.
characters." And we have one woman who we've worked with in the past who's an actress, and she'll play both characters, and it'll be great. But so we told, and it turns out Tootie Cole from
Hmm.
Dead Moon owns
Mhm.
a little bodega. So we just
Hmm.
kind of acted like that was a plaid pantry, and
Yeah.
and it all worked out.
It's pretty
Well,
close.
dude, incredibly catchy. I've been singing the little opening jingle in my head all day today, so I appreciate
Oh,
that,
awesome.
guys.
Right on.
Awesome.
Thanks.
Good.
So, Wolves, and I understand like the album name kind of comes from there's two wolves inside of you. Which
Hmm.
one you gonna feed? And also, we got
Yep.
two wolves right here. Uh, how did you guys
God.
meet?
Oh, bands.
Bands, Portland bands.
Yeah. At
Yeah.
one point, I think we were in 6 bands together,
Right. Right.
and then we liked each other
Yep.
enough to want to keep getting together for no reason. Like,
Hmm.
hey, let's just get together for no reason and make music just for our own selves. And that's kind of where Wonderly was born.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, I understand that y'all are a bit of a stable for the Portland, Oregon scene. And just for listeners who may be going to that place, I'd like for y'all to talk a little bit about the places y'all represent and just kind of what goes on there.
Well, I hope you can come out and see him in person someday. Ben is he has this choir that sings all over town and meets
It's
every week.
it's kind of it's a drop-in choir. So like it's kind of like a rock show where everybody sings and like the audience is the lead singer. And it's called the Low Bar Chorale. We meet like twice a month, usually at Rev Hall or Mississippi Studios. But then we were just at Salmon Fest in Alaska over the summer, and we're about ready to
Taken down the road
take
as a
it on the
choir.
road to a few places in the new year. But yeah, no, it's a lot of fun. I just get together with a crack band and whoever comes through the door, and I teach everybody three-part harmony to like Fleet Foxes songs and that kind of
Or
thing.
whatever.
Oh,
Yeah.
very cool.
And
Yeah.
he does that in all kinds of venues, but mostly in the venues that over the years that I've built with
Hmm.
with my friends. And so there's you know, and I think we both have just kind of we both toured a lot in our lives, and now we get a different thrill out of getting instead of having an audience being like, you're so great, you're so great. It's more like having a group of people that just participates and sings and is part of it.
Making music in community.
Like it's not all kumbaya, but it's just it's a thrill to have everybody show up and sing. And then for me, from my place, you know, I'm a little less of a people lover, I think, than Ben is. I love being on the outskirts of it and kind of hosting it. So we have these spaces that vary in size. You know, sometimes it started off in one of our smaller spaces that only holds like 50 people, called the Assembly Lounge. And that's where he used to hold them. And now he still does it every week in this place called Show Bar, which is like a 220 cap venue. But then he has special shows at Mississippi Studios, which is a 350 cap. And then this weekend he's got a sold out one here at Revolution Hall, which is the auditorium right next to us here.
850. It's gonna be a big choir that night.
Oh, great.
So that'll be a lot of people singing, and that thrills me.
Yeah.
But it also thrills me to be able to walk out and at the end of the night and you know, not have to lug the gear, not have to lug a bunch of gear. I've done my tour, and I may tour again. We may tour again. But right now it feels pretty good to, you know, be home, be here in Portland. I got daughters.
So something I wanted to ask y'all, like with the involvement that y'all have in the music scene there is, just for instance, tonight in Tuscaloosa, it's a event at the Bama Theater going on. It's called the Get Up Three, and we have Brittany Howard from the Alabama Shakes. We have Mike Cooley from the Drive-By Truckers, and
awesome.
Wanda from the Wanda Band, and Jameson Hubbard from a local Tuscaloosa band called Haysop. And the whole thing is put on for, of course, Tuscaloosa is a college town. It's home to the University of Alabama. So that whole bar scene there is nothing but they want cover bands. You know, I've done it and friends of mine have done it. You go to the strip, you're like, me and my band would like to play. No problem. Here's what we pay. And then they hand you a piece of paper. That's the songs you're going to play.
Oh.
So it's like, never mind. Never mind. And they was like, here's the tempo too. You got to keep it moving, okay?
Wow.
And then this place, Druid City Brewing, is it's just outside the strip. But it's a beloved brewery in Tuscaloosa, and no one has fought harder than Bo Hicks, the owner, and his staff to fight for live music and original music.
Original music.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. That's
And the Get Up Three, and he's friends with Brittany and Mike and all those guys. And he's like, can we put on this event because we really need to raise money so that we can continue to be able to put on live music and have bands invade our space. And so, like, since 2020, have y'all seen some venues or just the music culture there? Has it changed? Has it recovered? Like, what do y'all think?
No, it hasn't recovered. No, people are out of the habit, and I wish we were. I wish we were there. We would come lend a song or two. Although you know, I don't know that many people that would know us in your part of the woods, but it's exactly the type of thing we support. And venues, I know because I have a lot of involvement in the National Independent Venue Association. Venues have not come back, especially original music venues, and people just COVID hit, and because of all the shutdowns, like out here, we were shut down for almost 2 years,
right?
And people got out of the habit of looking for original live in-person content, you know, whether it's covers or original, and they just started streaming shit at home and just sitting at home and being inundated with the corporate bullshit that comes, you know, through the streams. And it's just so easy. It's like crack. And I think there's a nation of young people that they came up, they graduated from high school during COVID, and those 3 or 4 years when they should have learned to go out and be shoulder to shoulder in a crowded room, listening to punk rock or country music or whatever. Instead of doing that, they were just getting inundated by the social media and the streaming. So we're just trying to make things around here as inviting as possible. And I mean, like even on the strip where all those cover bands and stuff are playing, I mean, at least that's live music,
right?
At least it's that, you know, it's not original. So we got to work them in. Come on, young people, this is what we really fun. You might see some people get into an argument. You might see some people getting it on in the bathroom. You never know what you're gonna see. Like
That's
this is
right.
it is a dirty, gritty, like humans in together.
Exactly.
Together, like
That's how it works.
stop streaming. Come on, fuck Netflix.
Stop
Sorry.
isolating.
Just get it. I hope can I cuss on this?
You can do whatever you like, okay?
Okay. I should have asked before, but like
Nah.
what we see with what Ben does with the low bar corral and what I do with the Mississippi Studios and Revolution Hall is we just see I think it brings out the best in people, you know, and so,
Agreed.
you know, sometimes that's a little edgy and thorny, but the payoff is, as you know, it's intense, you know. It's not about the instrument or the skill. It's about the, I mean, it's such an overused word, but it is about the community. It's about communing, and whether you're all in agreement or not.
Yeah.
And that's one thing that we've really been pushing. I help a friend of mine, he owns a venue in Columbus, Mississippi, and every 2 weeks I'll come out and I'll bring all my musician friends out and we'll do an open mic. And we've been doing that for about 2 years, but over the past 6 months, the amount of growth that we have accomplished, and that was just me and my guys, and I was like, look, we're stagnant right now. I don't know if I need to stop being the host. Maybe someone else needs to host it, but we've hit some kind of a plateau and we're not getting over. I have this idea. Let's run this. If it doesn't work, I'm going to turn it over to somebody else. I was like, I want brass. I want horns. I want I want to change this up. I was like, can we get a little flair? Can we get something that's going to, and let's open the doors and let it go out to the street. I want everybody to know what we're up to, what we're doing.
Wow.
And we've been doing that since late October. And I mean, the numbers, I mean, we're filling the venue up.
That's great.
Oh,
That's
awesome.
great.
And
What's
so
the
like
it's
That's
called
like a
in
great
Columbia?
show.
What's the Columbia venue called?
it's Munson and Brothers.
Munson Brothers?
So
Oh.
what we used to do, we would do beard oils and balms and soaps and all these products we were making ourselves. When COVID hit in 2020, there were no more festivals to go to sell our wares. And so we took our home base where we made the products. We started because during that time, if you had an outside place, we had a window. You can legally sling beers out of the window and sell them. So that's what we did. And and then it turned into like let's build us a brick oven and we'll start making pizzas. And then,
Oh, wow.
let's start doing live music. Let's build a
Oh
stage.
my
And so like,
gosh.
we've been slowly growing since 2020 because we had to adapt.
Right.
We wanted to exist and we had to fight for what we had.
Yeah.
I think that's how it starts, and I think we just have some rebuilding to do. It's going to be not overnight, you know. But it's not like a trend. What we do, what you do, what Munson Brothers do. It's not trendy. It's just a quality, and it's a good chance. I think I'm hopeful, you know. But numbers are down. 2019 was here, and 2024 is about 70% of that, maybe 65% of that, depending on where you are. And it's not pretty. Like for anybody who has an idea of getting into music to get rich, well, that's not really happening anymore, which is kind of a good thing, you know.
Yeah.
So it's all about the people who really, like you said, musicians, people who have devoted their lives to learn how to play the trombone are the people. And the thing is, they drink and they also have day jobs. So they're going to come and they're going to drink beer and they're going to commune and it's going to be a good scene. And that's what we build from there. You know,
And that's what we want. And a little bit because it was always very curious to me that there's a Mississippi Studios in Portland.
Right? Yeah. It's
Like, how'd that happen?
The street, it's on Mississippi Avenue.
Okay.
And Mississippi Avenue used to be, it went through two phases. One, it was a prominent African-American business ownership area, but then the city fell on some hard times and there was some like inherent forces at play. Oregon's not known for its sort of progressive acceptance of diversity and things like that. So Portland kind of redlined Mississippi Avenue. And then there was it was for a while, it was like Italian eateries and things like that. But then, something happened in the 80s where the whole street just shut down. So when I came to Mississippi, it was all boarded up. There was no businesses on it whatsoever. And I just wanted to have a recording studio and I could get in there real cheap. And I used, we were on Capricorn Records at the time, and I used the Advance from our second album to buy this little old church that had gone out of business, basically. I don't know how churches really go out of business, but I think they just sort of dwindle when they lose vision. And the pastor, I met the pastor, and he was like, yeah, I want to sell my church and blah, blah, blah. And so we turned that church into a recording studio, and we just named it Mississippi Studios because it was on Mississippi Avenue, which was sort of like the hard times part of Portland at the time. But that was 22 years ago, and now things have really turned around. There's been like an intense wave of gentrification around it, and all the bands. I didn't want to really record bands anymore because I got sick of the sound of somebody working on a snare drum tone for 3 hours. And so personally, I was like, okay, I'll take the studio gear and take it home. And so I still record using that same gear. I record us and sometimes friends and other people. But there's all the backs that were playing in the studios at the time used the big empty room in front to put on little shows for their friends. And at the time, it only held like 65, 70 people. But it got a really busy calendar because there was something that was missing in Portland, was a small listening room. So we just have kind of organically grown and just like added little sections to it, added a balcony, added a room. And so now it's a 350 capacity room, and bands come and play from all over the world. So like from your neck of the woods, we've got bands ranging from Blind Boys of Alabama on the older side to, young up and coming punk bands and stuff come through. It's a touring, which what we try to do is be real friendly to touring bands, but also leave about a third of the calendar for local bands. So since I had toured for about 12 years with my band, I knew what it was like to show up at a venue when they care. They've got your stage plot out. The stage is set up. They got drink tickets and meal tickets to hand you right away. You don't have to go beg somebody for them. You don't have to go wait for the bartender's attention to get your meal and stuff. So I knew that we'd show sort of a Southern hospitality to people. So instead of renaming the venue, I was like, well, this feels kind of like, it feels like a Southern hospitality situation. So we kept the name Mississippi Studios and still venue.
Checks out. I just had a friend. He went up to Portland, and that was one of the first places he told me he wanted to go.
Oh,
And,
did he go?
I haven't caught up with him since he got back. I've got to ask, but he was like, "There's this."
Let's
place
call him
called,
right now. Let's see.
there's this place called Mississippi Studios, and I gotta know why. And I was like, "Well, I know why now."
Is he back? Is he still? If he's not, if he's still here, I'll hook up with him, give him a T-shirt to bring back for you.
Oh yeah, he's already back. Unfortunately, that would be pretty sweet. But yeah, so like Ben, just and I would like to hear it from both of you. What made you want to get into music? Like, was it early days riding in the car with mom and dad, or like how did it go down?
It started pretty early for me. My folks got me involved in music when I was about 3 years old. I don't think they really wanted me to be a professional musician necessarily. They just wanted me to have an appreciation, but it just kind of took hold. And I took up violin when I was about 3. Yeah. And then piano when I was like 7 or 8 or so. And then when I was 13, I took up acoustic bass and viola because of my big hands, so I could play those instruments. And that's when I really started kind of composing and writing and doing and arranging and doing the things
I gotta give you props to your bass playing, brother. It is addictive and it is very pleasant.
Well, thank you very much. Sometimes it's me and sometimes it's Jim.
Well, on the record, but he's the real bass player. Like, especially with the up on the upright. Like, even on my solo stuff, he's always my bass player because he's a much better bass player than I am. The only reason I play bass on a song is because maybe you didn't make it out that day, and then I'm like, okay, here's the part I hear you playing, and then he's like, nope, you did it fine, Jim, and then we fight over who gets to play the bass on stuff.
Sometimes, yeah. Yeah,
he's the real bass player.
Oh, come on, man. But thank you very much for.
I hated to interrupt you, but I was like, man, I know that on Plaid Panther, for instance, that little bass that bass hook in that song.
Oh, cool!
Is incredible.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, thanks. We were trying to like aim for the Kinks kind of, or like early Kinks kind of thing, and it was just like doubling. We just play the same notes.
I got to give you credit. I think you came up with that on guitar. And I just got doubled on bass, but yeah.
Well, sometimes it works to double, and sometimes I'm like, we say to each other, get out of the way, you're playing my line. But on that one, it's like,
yeah.
But did I hear? Before you hit record, did you mention that you're a banjo player?
I had just purchased this banjo probably 6 months ago. I have been addicted to there's a guy named Abe Partridge down in Mobile, Alabama. He's a folk singer-songwriter. And Ryan Munson, when I was talking about Munson Brothers, that's his place. Both of those guys approached the guitar the same way, and it didn't click for me at first. They learned how to play music on a banjo, and so they still approach the guitar like a banjo.
Oh, interesting.
That's what I did.
Just,
That's,
just,
I'm
just,
always
just,
fascinated by that.
just with the picking style, right? And like when I'm listening to their music, and I was like, my brain just doesn't do that naturally. So I was like, I'm gonna get a banjo and learn that style, and then maybe I can bring it over to guitar.
We are big, huge
Yeah.
fans. I mean, I'm a lifelong fan of John Hartford, and I
Oh,
learned
yeah.
I learned to play all the music, early music that I got into was from listening to John Hartford and other like early banjo like favorites of mine. And he's not so much a banjo player as a sort of a songwriter slash persona, but the way he approaches music, I just love. It's like jazz and funk all rolled into one, but and with amazing like
It's its own thing.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't know anybody else who sounds really like John Hartford.
yeah, yeah, but it definitely informs both. I think the music that we make together
Oh,
is
yeah.
very Hartford and very banjo informed, and we did a version of Thelonious Monk's
Well, You Needn't.
Well, You Needn't
Yeah.
on our covers record, which is like banjo, upright, melodica, and because it's just got a great way of folding itself around the groove. It doesn't set the groove the way the bass does, but it's a percussion instrument, and it's very backbeat oriented. It can be a forward bluegrassy instrument too, but banjo is funky.
It's funky, yeah.
It's a funky, weird
And it's so rhythmic. Yeah, like I play a lot of banjo too, and I play clawhammer mostly. And that
first time I
that's
ever
like a
saw
cool-
him, the first time I ever
Is
saw
that
you,
right? Was
yeah,
that banjo?
you were playing with Holcomb, and
That
you
sounds
came
right.
in to record in the studio,
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
and you were playing banjo
and
and
slide.
slide.
I
Yeah,
was playing slide. I know I never play slide anymore, but
No.
it's because of you. You play slide. You're amazing. At
I'm
slide.
checking out this place. We gotta go. We gotta go to this place.
Yeah, man.
This is
That's
your buddy.
it.
That's
That's
so
it.
cool.
That's us.
I see.
So
I see Wonderly in their future.
Oh, yeah. That'd be
so
amazing.
I'll tell y'all this open invitation.
Oh, yeah.
April 11th and 12th, I throw a music festival that was started through doing this podcast. The
Oh,
show's
cool.
called Porch Talk, so we do and I know there's a million of them all over the country, but we have a Porch Fest, and that is where we do it. So
sweet.
on Friday we start at 5 and we go till midnight, and then
Awesome.
Saturday we go from noon to midnight. And guys, if y'all want to come, I will make a slot for you, and come on down. We'll put you up and take care
We'd
of
love
you.
to. We've really been talking a lot about road tripping again, and I would call it road tripping and not touring, because touring is like something we've both done. Like I said earlier, it's like so much, and when you're touring, you got to show up and you have an agenda, and it's very repetitive, as you may know. You go into a town and you're going to play a 90-minute negotiated set after the opening band and stuff, or maybe you're the opening band, whatever. You do your set, and you have to make sure you service the record that you're trying to sell, and you have to make sure that you got to stay in the hotel where you got the special rate from the thing, and then you got to get in the car after the show and get a couple hours on the road before you get to the next town, which may be 3-4 hours away, and it's very repetitive and all the loading and stuff. So I think at our old age that we're at now, we can afford maybe afford, if we live frugally, we can afford to like get in the van and take a trip across the country and just see, folks like yourself, people who really appreciate and are trying to do something, and not just play the clubs, and like stop in Austin, see our buddies Charlie, and go to play the Continental and do some like things like that.
Yeah.
As opposed to the pressures of touring, where you got to make sure you talk to the right press outlets and you talk to all the, get the butts in the seats, and it's money, 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 money.
Yeah.
We're over that. We're
Oh,
gonna
and
go.
I tell you, like
this
since
Yeah, let's go to this place. Your festival sounds awesome. Yeah.
dude,
And beard balm.
Oh,
that's
come on.
it.
I need
Yeah.
that.
You got some
Now-
beard balm in right now?
Oh yeah, yes I do. I have that
Nice,
can.
nice.
And that Zen, I am telling you, it is like the smell, the aroma. It's like fresh out the shower.
We were not paid to endorse this product.
You need a crowbar to keep whoever from getting after you.
Okay.
Because they're gonna be
My girlfriend
piling
won't let
on
me.
you.
She won't let me wear a beard at all.
Is that right?
Yeah. I don't know how. Jenny
Well,
likes
Jenny will not let me cut off the beard.
I don't know. Who
see,
knows under that?
she knows what's under there. But yeah, so
by the time we get to Mississippi, I'll have a beard. I'll dry.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
So,
we'll talk a little bit after this, and as far as like if y'all need a few more stops, maybe I can help arrange some stops
oh, that'd be
between here and
Yeah,
amazing.
no,
there.
that would
Thank
be
you.
fun.
Yeah, yeah.
I love
Because
that.
and that's one thing that we've really been after, and I don't know how it is there, but I know here in the Southeast, just for people who love music and who still go to shows, is we have really began building a house concert series.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
so take someone like Will Johnson from Centromatic. He lives in Texas, and his tour, he only does house show tours, and he
Mm-hmm.
does it for 2 or 3 months out of the year. He's done.
Mm.
Yeah, that's a
And and
nice.
you're always dealing with a room of, 25 to 50 people that really wanted to see you in an intimate setting. And, between songs, it's so quiet. You can hear a pin drop. They're hanging on every word. And so like,
That's
Sounds great.
that's our
That's
jam.
what we
We
want.
we
Yeah.
we we love that. And then it's not
Yeah.
just for us. Like we don't need to have that ego stroking of to make sure everybody in the room is paying attention. Like because we'll play to a melee if we need to because we just like playing music together.
Yeah.
But I think it's better. I think people have a much better time if they're sharing the same experience as opposed to with the mayhem that often happens in the mixed use rooms, where the room's
Yep.
trying to be a bar, but it's also trying to be a dance club, but it's also trying to be a music venue.
yeah,
So it's focused, like
Yeah.
people, we're all here for the same reason. So that's
It's
for
a
that reason we
and
love house concerts.
it's a musical experience, you
Yeah,
know?
it's
Yeah.
about
yeah.
music.
And it's and the shows that I've been to, it's been such a good experience. And I've there's two in Columbus now, and I'm seeing more pop up in Alabama and other parts of Mississippi. And
Mm.
I'm just trying to communicate. I think we could have a really good thing if we all work together to where we could have really nice things, and we can have great bands who aren't from this area, who probably have never been able to play this area because they didn't know we were here. They didn't know that we're into their music. So
Mm.
uh, let's let's pile our resources, and because
Yeah.
I mean
Totally.
most of the house shows, it comes room and board. You typically will stay at that house. It comes with a meal. I mean, Southern hospitality out the yin yang.
Wow.
That's awesome.
That's
Like,
really
like yeah,
cool.
most of the time house concerts don't also offer you a room. Like, like it's like a lot of the
Hmm.
time, at least out here, a lot of the times the house concert thing can suffer from sort of like a vanity project. Like some guy wants to show off his house, so he has you.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah.
no, that's not so much what we're doing. But same goes here, man. If you or friends of yours are coming out west, we can hook you up with some of the people who do good house concerts out here,
Mhm.
like
Oh,
what
great.
you're
Yeah,
talking
yeah.
about. Although I'm gonna say right out, I mean nothing compares to Southern hospitality. Like up here in the Northwest, people are a little more, withstand. They're removed.
Little
You're native.
introverted.
You're native.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
I'm a
yeah.
Midwesterner, and when I first came out here, I was like, okay, people are a little more reserved about like
Yes,
what they're
yes.
willing to.
Hmm.
You know, there and immediately get. Oh, what can I get for you? Have some cornbread.
Yeah.
Are you hungry? This will tide you over till dinner. You don't
Mhm.
get that in the Pacific Northwest.
Oh,
You get
I'm
it,
I'm telling you, it's
different kind of love.
whenever we get somebody from the Midwest or West Coast and it's their first time, because Columbus has one of the biggest Air Force bases, so we constantly have people, guys
Moving
from
through.
all over the country.
Mhm.
And when they finally get to go out, and it's kind of I don't know how they found us, but they did. But when they find us at Munson and Brothers, and like, that's usually a first thing. Is like the hospitality is just ridiculous. Like you almost make me feel a little uncomfortable with how hospitable you're being.
Mm,
It's
I'm
like
ready for
I feel like you're trying to pull the wool over my eyes or something.
Oh, interesting.
Well,
Mm.
I wouldn't feel that way because I don't think there's anything they could take from me. It's like I feel that sometimes when you're traveling and stuff, I stop thinking about that. Americans have this weird thing where we don't know how to accept generosity. Like
Mm.
you go to Mexico and people are like, I don't trust that guy. He's trying to show me his hometown or he's trying to show, no, what's he gonna do? Is he gonna you worry he's gonna like steal your wallet or something? There's not really cash anymore. It's like nobody's
Right.
trying to if somebody's showing you
Mhm.
hospitality, just believe them and just
Right.
take the gift.
Yeah, yeah.
We're ready. We're ready
Uh,
to go. We're ready to go on a road trip. We should do this.
Yeah, we
Totally
should
do
do this.
this.
Yeah.
We got to get back out there and do some traveling. Road trip. Wander the
uh,
road.
so Jim, tell me about your introductions to music. How did it get involved with you? How'd you get
Oh
tangled
man.
up?
How did I get so into it? My parents moved all the time when I was a kid, and so I just
Are you an army brat or?
no, no, dad was a workaholic academic guy, and so
Okay.
he kept going from university town to university town. And I took a different path, and I always knew that I wanted to take a different path than that. And I think I was an only child, so the only thing I really had was records, and like, I started with my parents' records, like he had some bluegrass records and some John Denver records, and I graduated into the Beatles, and I just started like every time I could, I would go to the bins or like every yard sale. If there was a stack of records, I would just go, that's what I would do. So I feel like I know every record cover that was made between like 1960 and 1980, just memorized. And so I just loved records so much. And so when I finally got my parents to buy me a banjo when I was maybe I was 10. I think I was 10. I started a lot later than he did. I just took to it. Like, it's all I did. And then like, I used to sneak into the neighbor's house and play their piano and stuff. And then my parents were like, okay, we better put an end to that. So they got a little upright piano and put it in the corner. And that's all I did, just play piano. That's all I could do because I was always the new kid in the school. And then, it solidified when the high school hit, and like being the new kid who could actually play music kind of came in handy for meeting girls and stuff. So for me, I didn't take any of my training seriously really until I was way grown up. Like we started a band out of college and was like on the road and way more successful than we deserved to be. We were part of that whole 90s bloated music industry thing, where major labels still used to give you a bunch of money to go on the road. And so we did. We weren't that good. But then it wasn't until I was probably in my 30s that I was like, oh man, I'm going to study this stuff and really learn this shit. Are you drinking a Miller Lite?
Oh, this is a Modelo,
Oh, Modelo.
Nice.
Oh,
That's
right.
good.
but I am not opposed to the fine Pilsner.
The fine
Champagne of
of beers.
Mm-hmm.
Makes me want to have a beer. We should have brought some beers up here with us.
We should have.
Well, you've got a rehearsal now, right? Or half an hour or something. He still
About
plays.
an hour.
He still plays in like 9 bands.
Not 9.
10.
No,
It's
You
11.
got-
couple.
You
Yeah,
play in
no.
so many bands, dude.
I do side work. It's not.
Yeah,
It's not
give me a
He's a whore. He's a whore.
give me a little bit of an idea of just y'all today. I'm multi-instrumental. You're helping out with the Portland scene, multiple bands. Like, what's the past couple months been like? Like, how busy and focused are you? Is it just all music or what's going
Oh,
on?
it's all music. Yeah, it's just
Mhm.
for both of us, but in
Yep.
different
Different
ways.
ways,
Yeah,
yeah.
he's managing the low bar corral and making all that stuff happen. I've got the venues a little bit. I'm writing a German opera because
Yeah.
I'm pissed off about corporate takeover of the United States, and I'm trying to express that in a way that's not too much like hitting people with a hammer, trying to make it a little bit of fun, a little bit of mysterious. So last night I got to do a gig with this local chamber orchestra called 45th Parallel. 6 cellos, a clarinet, and a flute, and 3 opera singers. And I debuted the first piece from the opera, which is all sung in German, but there's enough of it that's kind of, what is being sung, that it's sort of funny and tragic at the same time. It has like really poor translations of American phrases that were written that came out of the mouth of a certain political figure.
Okay.
A certain one.
So it's not like, it's not like fuck that guy. It's more like, isn't this a funny situation we find ourselves in? And how do we keep this from being the rise of something that resembles tyranny? And so my days lately have been like trying to perfect these scores and get the scores for these. They're all symphony players, so like these people, their whole lives have been looking at scores, and they play in the Oregon Symphony. So I got to give them something good. And Ben has a lot more experience with that, so he's helped me with the scores, and I've had help from some other players. But that's been what has solidified and taken up all my time lately.
And that premiere last night was really awesome.
Thank you.
I loved it.
And he came and sang on part of it too. But
That's very cool.
I mean, but it varies. Like some weeks I'm like, trying to learn how to play the charanga or clarinet.
You know how to play that one.
Well, but get better.
Oh yeah, I guess that's true.
Oh,
fill your life with music. You can't be unhappy.
Yeah,
Basically.
that's what I'm finding out.
One
I
thing we
want to.
won't do is, aside from like talking to people like you who we know are copacetic, we're not doing like we don't want to do the typical music sales thing where you're going off and trying to sell your record, servicing the record. So we're really happy that we're independent and that we've got our own, product, I guess you'd call it, or what our output.
Yeah.
What we put into the world is out there, and then we can either service it if we want, like by talking about it, or not. Or we can just go create something new, and there's some freedom there that is a real privilege because enough people have either listened to our music or paid us to write music for them that we can sort of get by doing that, as opposed to. Nothing against anybody who's on that circuit, like, because I deal with those people all the time. The bands they come in, they look tired, they get off the tour bus, they're like, man, we played Seattle last night, and then we got to be in Eugene tomorrow night, and it is a slog. So, but our lives are a little different.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I love
and I'm telling you, like over that period of COVID, I traveled the Southeast. I was in Mississippi, Alabama, and Tennessee, and I was still running the podcast like this, and I got two of these mics like this, and I got a little Scarlett Focusrite in my laptop, and I just going all over the Southeast, and I was talking to musicians in their garages or maybe just out on their driveway, and typically, if we sit down to do a live session and you're a musician, I ask if you'll open or close the show with a song. I was like, we want people to know who you are and what you sound like. It's a real unplugged kind of. We got the birds chirping in the back, all this and that,
Cool.
and well, we over COVID, I was like, I think we have something. Let's make a record. So we made a compilation record. I'd love to
Of the stuff that you had recorded of the
yeah
podcast stuff. Oh
yeah
wow, cool.
yeah. Let me I'll show it to you.
Oh, cool.
You actually put it on wax, or made CDs?
So, Abe Partridge, who I was telling you about, he's also a folk artist. And there's the
Oh, that's cool.
That's
yeah.
great. That's you.
Yeah,
That's you and your
love
man.
it.
That's a beautiful cover, man.
Yeah, and
Cool.
so, and then I know you won't be able to make out all the names, but it's a compilation record, and
Wait, no, hold that up again. So
this will
that's
this
a
will give
vinyl.
you yeah, this will
I
give
want
you a
one of
very
those.
good idea of what Porch Fest sounds like because a lot of
Oh,
these
cool.
guys will be playing. So
That is
I'll
cool.
send y'all a copy.
Oh, I love that.
We'll
Yeah.
send you some
wolves,
heart. Yeah, we'll send you
Oh,
wolves.
you got wolves. Yeah.
I got a vinyl.
Yeah, you got your
I'll send
vinyl,
you the crooning record, crooning through the apocalypse. I call it. So
Yep.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, kind of the same thing, but yeah, that was just like a very organic and unique thing. And man, it's independent, of course. I don't have a label backing or throwing money in it. I was talking with my friends and like we're playing shows and trying to put things together. And I showed them this project and I was like, I think we got something.
yeah. Well,
And
I can see why you're easy to talk to, dude. I can see why people would want to keep coming back and stuff.
Yeah.
We'll talk to you anytime.
yeah, man. But
Yeah.
I do want to talk a little bit about Wolves and
Yeah.
Wonderly a little bit. Like I said, just go back to the opening remarks is it has been such a great hang with that record. It reminds me a lot of some of the Band of Horses. That's my favorite band. I love Band of Horses.
Nice.
And it really reminds me of like some of their style of music. It's a roller coaster. You got your ups and downs. There's fun times. I mean, you did a good job, and I always think of it if like a singer songwriter. If I'm doing a 45-minute show, is I want to take the audience on a ride. I don't want to do fast songs at the beginning, straight slow songs at the end. No, we're gonna do a little storytelling. We're gonna be sad for a minute, and then we'll come up the mountain a little bit. But then we're gonna go back down the hill. And great record. Like congratulations on
Yeah,
that.
thank you. I appreciate that you appreciate that. We worked hard on that, on having it be a cohesive record.
Yeah, the dynamics of it.
Then there's no reason for us to release a record until we feel like there's a story to tell, And I feel like the record is kind of on theme, and it sort of goes places, and it's a combination of our own stories, which we don't normally tell to folks, and then kind of pulls together everybody kind of at the end. So I'm glad you like it.
Yeah, man. So,
And Band of Horses is a great band. Absolutely.
oh, I've seen them more times than I probably should have, and I'm not gonna stop. Um,
Right
so
on.
Birmingham is opening up this new amphitheater. It's gonna be the Coca-Cola Amphitheater. One of the
Something
first
like
shows that they're
that.
doing June of this coming year. Jason Isbell is gonna bring his 400 unit.
Nice.
And special guest Band of Horse, and I was like, two of my favorite things. Okay, I gotta
Yep,
go.
yep. Yeah.
But
Yeah, we got
yes,
Patterson. Patterson Hood is playing
Right,
downstairs
yeah, Patterson Hood's
tonight.
here
I think.
tonight.
Tonight and tomorrow.
really.
Patterson's here. Yeah.
Drive-by
Well, I mean,
truck.
that's wild because we got the other drive-by trucker here with us.
I know, right?
Yep.
Isn't that crazy?
And I
Jason
just
was here-
I
Jason
just saw
was
them
here
in
a couple months ago.
Huntsville 3 weeks ago,
No way.
Yeah.
No way.
and I forgot because it had been a long time. And to me, there is no. I love the drive-by records, but there is no better way to listen to them. I tell everybody, I was like, you got to get on YouTube and watch it live, or better, you got to
Get out of your
go
house
see
and
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
go
got to
see it
you
live.
got to
Buy
go
a
see
ticket.
it.
Buy
Yeah, I
a
was like,
ticket.
if you don't trust me, hop on YouTube and you're gonna be buying tickets.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I always forget about how good Patterson is at crafting and telling the story.
Yeah. So good.
Yep.
Good.
Yeah. They're both great. They're both great. Crazy talent.
Mm-hmm.
Huntsville's where
guys,
there's a new outdoor amphitheater in Huntsville.
yeah, I called it the Orion. Don't do that. So like Huntsville has got a lot of the NASA and the rocket kind of people, the TISM, if you will. And you better call it the Orion because everything in Huntsville is all about space. Okay. I was like, the
wow. Okay.
Orion. And they was like, no, it's the Orion. And I was like, Orion's belt. Okay, I get it.
No,
But
no nebulosity about what you're saying with us that we will call it the Orion.
I'm telling you, I was like, I'm sorry, guys. And I did it like a couple of times by mistake, and they quick to correct you. It's like, let's relax a little bit, okay? But yeah, it's a great new venue, and they have like two different they have like a bigger I guess that night because it was a code and maybe the tickets weren't where they should have been. They were on like the smaller stage, but they have the bigger stage too. Very nice place. But yeah,
It's
so
always funny to think about in all that we were talking earlier about the commodification of what it is that we do. It's a tough truth to think about, like how many butts you can put in the seats. And so and Jason Isbell has to think about that and like which venues he's going to play. So he doesn't have some jerk off bean counter saying, well, he's good for this. He's good for 500 tickets on this. Last time through, he was only good for 1,200. I just hate that kind of talk. About that is just the worst. It kills creativity. It prevents artists from pursuing their finest work, I think.
Agreed.
And it's just like, but part of my optimism is that there's so many people getting into it. Like you mentioned your Focusrite preamp, that little red Scarlet. Our whole record was made with that. I mean, we track the drums other places sometimes, but all the vocals, all the overdubs, everything was done through that little 2-channel Focusrite that you're using to make this podcast. And anybody can go buy that and put it in their
any place. Yeah.
and it's
$150.
Yeah. So, and you put it in any laptop and it's easy peasy and works. And so now anybody can make a great sounding record pretty much, as long as you use your ears and you're smart about it. It's about skill and there's not as many barriers. So I think like all the way from the house concerts that you're talking about to that Huntsville Orion, you got like,
there it is.
We're going to grow. We're going to grow into it. It'll make it so that touring is easier for artists and they don't have to do as hard of grueling a schedule.
Yeah, I'm hoping so. It wasn't so long ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, to where you had whether it's on the artist side of it or the listener side of it, but Spotify Wrapped and Apple Music Wrapped, YouTube Music Wrapped, and everybody. And I love to see what people are listening to and what they're into. But at the same time, I see so much disdain in the music community with the actual people who are making music and trying to kind of fight against that. They were like, we don't stop doing this. Like we shouldn't be sharing this. We shouldn't even be on those platforms. And I was like, but at the same breath, dude, if you ain't there, they ain't coming to you the old natural way anymore. Okay. I'm sorry.
Everything is free now.
There you go.
That's what they say. Gonna make I ever done. gonna give it all away.
Mhm.
Someone hit the big time. They figured it out.
that we're gonna do it anyway, even if it doesn't pay.
We've never sung that one before,
We
but
never did that
but we
one.
know we love it.
Yeah.
We don't have an arrangement of it, but
Not-
you know that song, the Gillian
I-
Welch song?
I do.
Yeah.
And you know, it even goes back to like sometimes we go to talking about a Rush, the spirit of radio, and
Uh-huh.
when they wrote that song, then
Prescient.
they were already there. They already saw it coming.
Yeah.
Mm,
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So
And
it's,
radios used to be heralded as the thing that would, propel music. And I guess in some ways it would get people out to see it, but it didn't, they showed that it didn't really help that much. And it's really going to come down to people going out in person, not
Mhm.
listening to radio, not streaming it,
Yeah.
but just going to hear it live. Like you
Get
said.
out to the clubs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
mhm. Well,
Or the
guys, I
house.
got 3 more questions, and we'll walk out the door. Thank y'all so much for
Yeah,
your
let's
time.
hear it.
I've really enjoyed this.
Yeah, me too.
So question 1 is, as far as keeping up with you, what is the best way to do that? Is it website? Is it social media? How can
I would say
people
it's
keep in touch?
probably more website than anything else.
Yeah.
We're both but we're not the most savvy social media people. I
And
would
we
say.
want to get away from the social media thing. It's just I don't want to encourage people to be on social media any more than they already are. So I hope people find us and like our music and join our emailing list.
Yeah,
that's a good
that's
way, because
great.
then we can come see
Okay.
you in person. If you join our emailing list, we'll perform either with the band or the duo. We have a duo thing. The last record that we did was all duo, just live performances.
Mhm.
This record more produced. So sometimes we mix it up and we bring a band sometimes. And we can only get to know you and you get to know us if we go do it live, So go to our website, sign up for our mailing list. Great question. Thank you.
What is that website?
www.wonderlymusic.com.
That's showing our
Wonderly
age.
Music.
We still say the
Yeah.
www before we say
I
the
didn't say
website.
HTTPS.
No, that's true. You didn't.
Backslash or whatever.
Good job, old man.
Oh,
Hey,
I
come
I
on.
don't remember I don't remember what podcast it was, but I was listening to it was a comedian podcast, and he was plugging the website, and I thought the host was going to chew him out for saying www, and I was like, dude, it's totally fair. It's okay.
You can still
can
say it.
we can still do
Wait,
the
when did that become a rule?
www.
You can't say it.
Yeah,
You can't
I was like,
you
come
can't
on,
call
man.
people anymore either.
Yeah,
You
cut him a
figure-
break.
This isn't how you call people. Also, by the way, this is an old-fashioned headset. But if you just call somebody now, like what do you call me for? Did you text me? Are we supposed to be having a phone call now? No, I'm just picking up the phone and calling you, man.
Oh, and I'm still old school like that, dude. I love to make phone calls every
too.
night if I can. I'm trying
Yep.
to see what's going on, because I can't get I don't know everything with a text. I don't know the emotion. It's so easy to misread, and I can't get the body language right or whatever.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah. I tell my friends call me. I welcome any unexpected phone calls for sure. I get the text that says, "Are you open for a phone call right now?" Well, yeah. I mean, what do
Mhm.
you expect me to say? Nope. Not
Mm.
gonna. I don't want to
Yeah.
talk.
Try again tomorrow, bub.
Yep.
All right. Question 2
Yeah.
is what have you been listening to? What's been inspiring you lately?
Oh
Mm.
man.
You go
No,
first.
you go first, because I've been listening to Puccini.
Oh, no, that's good. That's good. Go with that.
Well, I'm trying to wrap my brain around opera, but I don't have any. I'm just a beginner. I don't have any useful stuff. I mean, but my comfort food is still. I mean, I've been back on the John Hartford,
That's right.
Merle Haggard
Yeah.
thing lately. We haven't had a road jam for a while.
We haven't. We haven't. What would I bring on the road jam?
What would you bring?
Gosh, I don't know. I mean, I've been listening to a lot of Michael Kiwanuka lately. I love his stuff. I love oh gosh, who else? There's that new Shabuzi song? Have you heard that
Yes.
one about
Yeah.
that's
But Michael Kiwanuka, dude,
what's that? Yeah.
that dude is so incredible. Is he still
Right?
is he around Austin now? What part of the world is he in?
No, he's in England. He's
England.
England, yeah.
I didn't know if we finally got him here. I figured he would have landed in Austin, but
Mhm.
my God, that dude is incredible.
He's amazing. He's amazing. He came to Edgefield over the summer, and it was just
Cold
transcendent.
Little Heart is that, and
Yep.
I'll go for that 11-minute version. I won't.
Yeah, right. Exactly. The epic.
Wow.
Yeah, it's great. It's great stuff.
I've just been into gosh, what my daughters informal so much of my stuff, and they bring home a lot of crappy, like churned out algorithm, AI made music. But
Oh
every
my
once
God,
in a
that
while,
drives me nuts.
it's terrible. But I mean, the good thing about, I got 15-year-old daughters, right? So
Mhm.
I learned about so many artists from them, and like in some of them, and some of the stuff, like I'll bring Regina Spektor into the mix, or like oh gosh, who were we just listening to the other day?
Oh, what's her name?
I tell
Shoot.
the best
Is it
songs right now are
Waxahachie, maybe?
She has one name.
all the best songs are being written by like women in their 20s right now. It's incredible. The songwriting that's happening right now is insane. You know, from whether it's Billie Eilish or whether it's
Mitski, right?
Mitski.
Is that Mitz? Is that,
Mitski's a little older, but Mitski's incredible. Like she's so good, and her show is great, and she gives and gives and gives. Mitski's amazing. Billie Eilish. We covered a Billie Eilish song on our last record because we were such fans of her writing.
She's great. Yeah, she and Phineas are amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I guess.
her brother's quite the player.
Yeah, oh,
Yeah.
he can do anything. I mean, they're just, what a team.
And Laptop made you know, those records that you made on one of these that's right here.
Yep.
That, you know,
Wasn't it Phoebe over 2020? She made I think she made a at-home record, and I think she said she did it all on her iPhone.
That
oh
sounds
my God,
correct.
really?
Yeah, yeah.
You
And
know,
she,
was it
but
Phoebe
there's another
Bridgers,
one of
I
the
think?
writers, man. Her songs are killer. They're
she's so good.
heartbreaking. Her songs are so
Mhm.
good. And then what's her name? The one who did the HOTT
Oh, Chapel Run.
Chapel Roan. I
Yeah,
mean, if you dig into that Chapel Roan record and get past the few like radio hits, oh my God, there's some heartbreaking shit on that record. It's so good.
it's so artful. I love
Every
it.
time I discover a new artist, I find myself saying, "Wow, I'm twice this person's age, and she's so good at capturing an emotion and a turn of phrase and the meter of it, and it's all so good." And I think it started with Taylor Swift just kind of opening the door for a lot of these artists. You
Sure,
know, you
sure.
talk about an 11-minute song, that 11-minute version of that one song that's on
All Too Well.
All Too Well on the Red album. That's a great song. You know,
It is. You know, and to me is we do a show called Untapped in Vinyl on this. It's a show within the show, and I have my buddy Monk from the radio, and he comes on, and we're just talking shop on music. And he's got about 15 years on me, and I'm glad that he and I both agree, rather than it's like if I were talking to my father. You know, he's still on Merle Haggard or the guys from days gone by, and I'm so happy to say that, and I believe this 100%. Music has never sounded better today than it has. You know, we're still doing it. Like if you don't like today's music, you're just not in the right spot.
yeah, you're not listening
like
to the
that.
good stuff.
Yeah.
You're getting sucked into somebody's algorithmic
Yeah.
feed.
Yeah.
But there's so much good music being made today. Oh man, it's more than ever. Like I said, so I'm real optimistic about it.
All right, last question, guys. To walk out of the door, I want you to go back to being a late teenager, early 20s. What advice would you give yourself today in
Ooh,
this world?
That's a good question.
Hmm.
I like that. I do it all the time because I think because I got teenage daughters, so I'll go first.
There you go.
You gotta work towards your passions, which sounds cliched, but your passions are here. You love something, you're gonna have to experience some development of muscles, like some kind of work ethic to get from here to that fence post. If your passion is horses, you can't just go show up and ride horses. I found that out when I fell off a horse because I was ill prepared and I broke everything. But if you've got a passion, whether it's like, you know, makeup artist or writing songs like Chapel Roan, like put in some time on a daily basis. Like just put a little 20 minutes aside to practice your trumpet or to do whatever it is, to draw pictures or whatever your passion is. It doesn't have to be hours and hours. You don't have to like develop calluses until your fingers bleed, but every day get in there and put a little bit of time in on working towards whatever it is that you're passionate about.
I love that.
Cooking, doesn't matter. Whatever. Every day. That's mine.
I love that. This is kind of in the same boat as that, because I'm a huge fan also of the 10,000 hours of mastery. You know, like I don't think that there's really like God-given talent only goes so far. But it's the people who really succeed are the ones that work and work and work at it. And along those lines, I would tell myself, don't be afraid to suck.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to write a crappy song. Don't be afraid to do the thing that you are afraid of, because that's actually the thing that's going to always make you better. Like,
Oh yeah.
write that crappy song, because on the other side of that is actually a pretty good song.
Or the
Yeah.
crappy song might actually be
It
great.
might actually be great.
We were
also.
just fucking around when we got Plaid Pantry.
Yeah, exactly.
Now it's the one that gets
yeah.
stuck in my head on the whole
Totally.
It's the
album.
jingle.
Yeah,
It's a
yeah,
jingle.
yeah.
It gets
It is.
stuck in there, but we meant
Yeah.
for it to be a
Yeah.
crappy, like, wouldn't it be ridiculous if we just wrote a
Mhm.
song about the Plaid Pantry, and then we love Plaid Pantry.
Yep.
We love that
Yeah,
stuff.
I know. It's
So,
awesome.
but if we were afraid of sucking, we would have censored ourselves.
Exactly. We would
and
have shut it
stopped.
down too early. Yeah, exactly. But really being able to go for that and see the see the diamonds kind of in the dirt, or however you want to look at it.
Yeah.
Like, and have the discernment to know those things. I mean, that's just something that you just have to kind of do that process over and over, and just not be afraid of it to really make it happen. So.
I think that's it. Is a lot of times, man, just no matter how far you are on your journey, if it is creative and your passion, how easy it is for us to censor ourselves and cancel ourselves, and
Yep.
we never let it get out of the bedroom, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Yeah.
that's one thing huge about the open mic. We have a lot of young guys, 17, 18, 19, early 20s, and they're getting ready to get away from the covers, and they want to start sharing original music. And it'll be a little memo sent from an iPhone. Hey man, what do you think? Do you think this will work? It doesn't matter. Just
Yeah,
do
nice,
it.
That's the
yeah.
answer. Yeah, just give it a shot, man. Try it. You'll know, but you won't know until after you try it. After
Exactly.
you got to sing that shit for somebody, and then you'll know if it works.
And I'll
Do or
tell you, like I often like to ask, and I'd probably gonna open this up to y'all is when is a song finished? And I
Never.
think it's it's living and breathing, right?
Yeah, I'm all for it. And
Mhm.
all revising stuff
Yeah.
that you've had around for years. We
Oh,
do
yeah.
we do it all the time.
Mhm,
I mean,
mhm.
the Beatles did it.
Yeah.
Paul McCartney does it. There's nothing wrong, and Taylor Swift does it.
Mhm.
Just
Mhm.
keep. And who cares?
Yeah.
There is no finished,
No, it's just kind of where it is right now.
and there's no finished mix either. Like,
Yeah.
I don't. Somebody wants to go in and put their attention into something and rejiggering something. Yeah, you can get real attached to an original mix or an original version of something, but like
Sure.
Leonard Cohen kept writing Hallelujah long after it came out on the record. He wrote
Mhm.
verse after verse. He kept revising it. It was part of his own
Mhm,
internal
mhm.
struggle to become a better man. And I
Mhm.
think that if art really is important to our souls, we better be able to look at it, and keep revising it.
Absolutely.
And I think with the time period that we're about to enter into, I think a lot of great art is going to come from it because one thing that I believe about Mississippi is, if you right when you pass into the state sign declares the birthplace of America's music, and in parts of Mississippi, it almost feels like there's something in the air. And
Mhm.
sometimes when you're passing through, if you're not on those main roads, if you're on some of those county or state roads, even it almost feels like there's places in this state that time has forgotten. And it's almost like if you could just pull over, I mean, you could breathe it in, and like next thing you know, you might be having your crossroad experience.
Mhm.
I want to go.
Mm.
I'll stick to the two. Let's stick to the two lanes when we're in Mississippi. Like, that sounds
That's
great.
it.
You're like a poet laureate of Mississippi right here, man. I
Yeah.
love it.
Well,
Amazing.
hey, yeah, I'm an Alabamian, but I'm right on the state line. I work with both states.
Mhm.
I'm so very happy for the culture and art that both states are creating.
Yeah.
We have the Red Clay Strays. They just really hit it off big this past year. They're out of Mobile, Alabama, and we are so proud and happy for them
Mm.
because
Yeah. They're doing great.
I was living in Mobile around the time that they were getting started almost 10 years ago,
Mm.
and nobody thinks about that.
Mm.
Whenever you come across something that's big and it just feels unstoppable, or it's like they're on a ride. You
Mm.
think about the moment when you found them, but realistically, and we know this, they've been doing it for 20 years. You just didn't see the work.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. We look
Yeah.
forward to the day when people find those old Wonderly records and they're like, "Hey, man, these guys are doing shit."
Hell yeah, dude. Well, Jim, Ben, hey, thank y'all so much for
Alan,
your time here today, man.
Great talking to you.
really good talking with
Yeah.
you. Are we
Right
gonna
on.
stay and exchange information about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll wrap up here and we'll do that. So
Cool.
thank y'all again.
Thank you.